Welcome back. The word of the day is flight to quality. Flight to quality is when investors move their capital to safer or the safest investments in the marketplace during times that of unsettling markets, during times of turbulence, during times of uncertainty. What does this mean? Flight to quality. And why does it matter to you as an entrepreneur? Flight to quality happens. So, for example, when the major banks fail or the stock market's crashing, investors may take their money out of the stock market and invest it in government bonds with a secure rate of return. Why is this important to entrepreneurs? Now, let me give you guys one more example. A flight to quality can happen, for example, in the real estate market when someone who had $1 million in capital or even 100,000 invested it all in land or real estate or apartment buildings, and all of a sudden the market in that Detroit, let's say, area or a lot of America that got hit starts going down. Everybody starts moving out. They may try to liquidate their assets and go into something safer like cash, right, or a bond. So flight to quality is a term of art used in the finance world, but really inherently what you should know about this is that there's going to be a lot of times of turbulence in all markets throughout the cycles, right? So if you have the real estate market, for example, or the stock market, for example, or even the bond market, for example, there's going to be times where there's uncertainty. So I already gave you the example about the stock market and the real estate market, and for example, bonds. Puerto Rico just a year and a half ago defaulted on their bonds, or began to default on their bonds. What does that mean for the bondholders? Well, there's uncertainty there, right? So you may want to move that cash out and take it to a safer place, to a place where it's better quality. So for investors, I learned this from one of my online mentors, Frank Guistra. Inherently, he had a conversation. He had invested in a lot of gold. He had made a lot of money in mining and other areas. And they asked him when he was going to sell the gold. And he said, I don't know the price, but I know the feeling that it will be around. He goes, everybody will be wanting to buy it. And that's when I'll sell it. And that inherently, triggered something that has done really well for me, which is in times of uncertainty are usually the best times to invest. So, for example, if you look at the banking collapse or the real estate collapse, those were two of the greatest times in history to actually put your money in those sectors. Over the next few years, they did very well because you want to buy at the bottom. The problem is that during times of uncertainty, there's less liquid cash, right? If the stock market crashes and your money is in the stock market, you have less liquid cash to invest, and there's a lot of uncertainty, right? So you have to be brave enough to understand what you're investing in and understand that it's going to come back, and understand that the hype has nothing to do with the actual value of the asset. So in times of uncertainty is the best time to buy. So another way of saying this is when you start seeing people move all of their money out of an asset class collapsing, that's usually the best time to invest in that asset class. Now these bubbles and collapses, bubbles is another name for what happens, a cycle of when it collapses, happen in all sectors: stocks, bonds, clothing, every product or asset you can think of has this up and down kind of motion. And when there is pessimism in the marketplace, when there is doubt in the marketplace, is generally the best time to buy. Another way I've heard this is when there's blood on the street, buy. This is a little bit morbid and a little more gruesome than most analogies, but the point is, if you're in the middle of a war zone, you can give away that property. Nobody wants it, right? Now, holding the legal deed to that property, though, 20 years down the line may be really, really, really valuable, right? So buy when there's blood on the street. Buy when there's pessimism out there. These are usually times when, if you know your market and you understand what you're investing in, you're going to make the biggest profit. So flight to quality, that's the term of art for the day. I hope I taught you guys something. If you like what you hear, subscribe, follow the blog, follow the YouTube vlog, follow me on Twitter at Nicholas Coriano, and we'll be back soon. Thanks for joining another episode of An Entrepreneur's Journey.